hope you enjoy the story. Let's begin. The smell of roasted turkey filled the dining room, but Harry Prescott barely noticed. He sat at the mahogany table, watching his daughter Harper pick at her mashed potatoes with a plastic fork while her cousins ate with the good silverware. 7 years old and already learning her place in this family hierarchy. "All right, children." Wileen's voice cut through the dinner chatter like a knife through butter. Harry's mother-in-law stood at the head of the table, her perfectly manicured hands clasped together. "Time for presents." Harper's eyes lit up. She straightened in her chair, smoothing down her yellow dress, the one Harry had picked out that morning, because she said it made her look like sunshine. "Madison, sweetie, this is for you." Wileen handed her eldest grandchild a wrap box. The 8-year-old tore into it, squealing when she found the latest iPad. "Thank you, Grandma. And for you, Tyler." A thick envelope went to the 10-year-old boy. $500 for your savings account. Harry watched as Wileen continued her rounds. Diamond earrings for little Emma. A gold bracelet for cousin Jake. Designer clothes for the twins. Each gift met with hugs and excited chatter. Harper waited, her small hands folded in her lap, legs swinging under the table. She watched each cousin receive their gift, her smile growing smaller with each passing moment. When Wileen returned to her seat without approaching Harper, the little girl's voice came out barely above a whisper. "Grandma, did you forget mine?" The room went quiet. Forks stopped moving. Even the twins stopped their excited comparison of their new toys. Wileen took a sip of her wine before answering. "There's nothing for you, Harper." But why?" Harper's bottom lip trembled. "Because," Wileen set down her glass with deliberate slowness, "you're not really family." Harry's hand tightened around his fork, the metal bit into his palm. "Mother." Calla's voice held no real reproach. Harry turned to his wife, expecting defense of their daughter. Instead, she wore that small, satisfied smile he'd been seeing more often lately. "What mother means is that only good kids get gifts. I am good." Harper's voice cracked. "I got all A's on my report card. I helped Mrs. Johnson with her groceries." Harper." Calla's tone turned sharp. "Don't argue with adults." The other adults at the table suddenly found their plates fascinating. Harry's brother-in-law studied his green beans like they held the secrets of the universe. His sister-in-law dabbed at her mouth with her napkin. Avoiding eye contact, Harry pushed back his chair. The scrape against hardwood sounded like thunder in the silence. "Harper, come here." His daughter slipped from her chair and walked to him. Her yellow dress wrinkled now, tear tracks on her cheeks. He lifted her into his arms, feeling her small body shake with held-back sobs. "We're leaving," Harry announced. "Oh, don't be dramatic." Calla rolled her eyes. "She needs to learn she can't have everything she wants." Harry looked at his wife, really looked at her. When had her brown eyes become so cold? When had that caring nurse he'd married transformed into this stranger who could watch their child hurt without flinching? "What she needs to learn," Harry said, his voice steady despite the rage building in his chest, "is that she has a father who won't let anyone treat her as less than." He carried Harper toward the door. Behind him, Wileen's voice followed like poison. Such sensitivity. No wonder the child is so weak. Harry stopped at the threshold, but didn't turn around. The only weakness in this room is the inability to show kindness to a 7-year-old child. He adjusted Harper in his arms. "Enjoy your turkey." The drive home stretched in silence, except for Harper's quiet sniffles. Harry kept one hand on the wheel, the other holding his daughter's small fingers. The city lights blurred past the windows, each one a reminder of how blind he'd been. Harper's room glowed soft pink from her butterfly nightlight. Harry sat on the edge of her bed, tucking the covers around her small frame. She'd stopped crying, but her eyes remained puffy and red. "Daddy." Her voice came out hoarse. "Why doesn't Grandma love me?" Harry brushed a strand of hair from her forehead. "How did you explain cruelty to innocence? How did you tell your child that sometimes the people who should love you most are the ones who hurt you deepest? Listen to me, Harper." He took her hands in his. "You're everything they're not: kind, smart, and strong. Some people, they see light in others and want to dim it because they don't have any of their own. But Mommy said I wasn't good. Your mother was wrong." The words tasted bitter but necessary. "You were the best thing in my life." Don't ever let anyone tell you different. Harper nodded, but doubt lingered in her eyes. After she fell asleep, Harry stood in her doorway, watching her chest rise and fall. His mind cataloged moments he'd dismissed or excused. The birthday party last month, Harper hadn't received an invitation to Cousin Madison's celebration. Calla had said it must have gotten lost in the mail. But Harper had seen the photos on Facebook, all her cousins eating cake and playing games without her 3 months ago at school pickup. He'd arrived early to find Harper sitting alone on the steps while Wileen collected the other grandchildren. "Oh, I didn't know she needed a ride," Wileen had said, despite Calla's text that morning asking her to get Harper. The Christmas before, when Santa brought elaborate gifts for every grandchild except Harper, who received a single coloring book. "Santa must know she has enough toys," Wileen had explained. Harry walked to his home office and closed the door. He sank into his desk chair, running his hands through his hair. The pattern was clear now, laid out like evidence in one of his engineering reports. Systematic exclusion. Deliberate cruelty, but why? His phone buzzed. A text from Calla, "Staying at Mom's tonight. You overreacted and ruined dinner." No apology for Harper. No concern for their daughter's feelings. Just blame and absence. Harry set down the phone and stared at the family photo on his desk. Calla's smile looked different now, not warm, but calculating. Even then, at their beach vacation last summer, she stood slightly apart from Harper and him, as if already planning her exit. When had she started working late so often? When had their conversations become purely functional bills, schedules, logistics? When had she stopped kissing Harper goodnight? The questions multiplied like cancer cells, each one eating away at the illusion of his marriage. Harry opened his laptop and stared at the screen. His engineering mind craved data, facts, proof. But did he really want to know? A sound from the hallway made him look up. Harper stood in the doorway, clutching her stuffed elephant. "Can't sleep?" he asked. She shook her head and patted over to him. He lifted her onto his lap, wrapping his arms around her small frame. "Daddy, are you sad too?" "A little bit," he admitted. "Because of what Grandma said. Because people weren't kind to you. That always makes me sad." Harper leaned against his chest. "Maybe if I try harder, they'll like me." "No." The word came out harsher than intended. Harry gentled his voice. "You don't need to change for anyone. You're perfect exactly as you are." They sat in silence, father and daughter against the world. Harry made a decision then, holding his child who still believed she could earn love that should be freely given. He would find the truth. All of it. 3 weeks passed in careful observation. Harry became a detective in his own life, noting patterns and inconsistencies with the same precision he applied to structural analysis at work, that Calla's Tuesday yoga classes that somehow required full makeup. Her new password on her phone, the way she angled her screen away when texting. Credit card charges at restaurants he'd never heard of during her supposed work lunch breaks. Harry documented everything in an encrypted folder on his laptop. Each piece of evidence another crack in the foundation of his marriage. But he needed more than suspicion. He needed proof. The opportunity came on a Thursday night. Calla left for her book club, the one that apparently required her lace, underwear, and perfume. After Harper fell asleep, Harry went to work. He started with the home computer. Calla hadn't logged out of her email. Harry's stomach churned as he clicked through her sent folder, but he pushed forward. Engineers solve problems with data, not emotion. Most emails were mundane. Work schedules, appointment confirmations, spam. Then he found it. A thread with someone named Derek. "Can't wait to see you tonight." "Same room as last time?" "Yes." "H will be with his boring daughter, as usual. I swear that child ruins everything." Harry's vision blurred. He blinked hard, forcing himself to read on. "She's not that bad. You don't have to live with her constant need for attention." Or him. "God, Derek, sometimes I think about what life would be like if I'd never had her. You could always leave. Working on it. Mom's helping with the lawyer. Just need the right timing." Harry printed every email. His hand stayed steady despite the rage building in his chest. He moved to her social media. Using the password he'd seen her type, Derek 2023. Photos filled the screen. Calla and a man Harry recognized from her hospital, Derek from radiology. Pictures at restaurants, concerts, hotels. Some innocent, others decidedly not, but it was the private messages that gutted him. Harper asked why I don't love her today. Almost told her the truth that she's the chain keeping me from my real life. 3 more months and you'll be free. Can't come soon enough. Playing happy family is exhausting. Harry's training kicked in. He screenshotted everything, saved it to multiple drives. He found bank statements showing money transfers to an account he didn't recognize. Their daughter's college fund, slowly drained for weekend trips and hotel rooms. Then he found the video. His finger hovered over the play button. Did he need to see this? But thoroughness mattered in engineering, and it mattered here. He clicked play. The location was immediately recognizable: Wylene's guest bedroom with its distinctive floral wallpaper. Calla and Derek doing things that made Harry close the laptop. He sat in the dark office, breathing carefully. In and out, just like he'd learned in therapy after his father died. Control the breath, control the emotion. But this wasn't grief. This was rage, cold and calculating. Harry reopened the laptop and copied the video to his drives. Evidence was evidence, no matter how much it hurt to collect. He searched deeper, finding more videos, more photos, more proof of betrayal that went beyond physical cheating. Audio recordings Calla had made, mocking him to her friends. He's so boring. All he cares about is work and that brat. I swear, if I have to pretend to care about one more school play or soccer game, text messages with Wylene, don't worry, honey. We'll make sure you get everything in the divorce. That prenup has loopholes, and I know just the lawyer to find them. What about Harper? What about her? You never wanted her anyway. True. Maybe he'll take full custody. Save me the trouble. Harry printed everything, page after page of evidence, building a tower of betrayal on his desk. When he finished, dawn was breaking through the office window. He walked to Harper's room and watched her sleep, innocent and unaware of the bomb about to explode in their lives. She clutched her elephant, a small smile on her face, dreaming good dreams despite the cruelty she'd endured. I'm going to fix this, Harry whispered. I promise. Back in his office, he picked up his phone and scrolled through his contacts. Jim Morrison, the attorney who'd handled his father's estate. Known for being ruthless when needed, Harry typed out a message. Need to meet. Urgent family matter. Complete discretion required. The response came within minutes despite the early hour. My office. 9 a.m. Bring everything. Harry looked at the stack of evidence, then at the family photo on his desk. He picked up the picture and removed it from the frame, folding it so only Harper's smiling face showed. Just you and me, kid, he said to the photo. The way it should have been all along. The sun rose fully, painting the office gold. Harry didn't move from his chair, didn't sleep, didn't eat. He sat surrounded by proof of his wife's betrayal, planning not revenge, but justice. Cold, calculated justice. The kind that would ensure Harper never again sat at a table wondering why she wasn't loved. The kind that would teach Calla and Wylene that some mistakes couldn't be undone with fake tears or manipulation. Harry Prescott was done being the nice guy, done turning the other cheek, done letting his daughter suffer for the comfort of others. The engineer in him had analyzed the problem. Now it was time to implement the solution. Jim Morrison's office smelled like leather and old paper. The attorney sat across from Harry, reading through the evidence with the focus of a surgeon. Harry watched him flip through each page, occasionally making notes on a yellow legal pad. This is comprehensive, Jim finally said, setting down the stack. Most clients come to me with suspicions. You've brought me a federal case worth of evidence. I'm an engineer. We document everything. Lucky for you. Jim leaned back in his chair. The adultery is clear-cut. The financial fraud with the college fund, that's criminal. And these messages about Harper. He shook his head. No judge will look kindly on a mother who speaks about her child this way. I want full custody, Harry said. No visitation until Harper's old enough to decide for herself. That's aggressive. They called her a burden. A mistake. They excluded her from family events and made her feel worthless. That's not aggressive, that's protective. Jim nodded. We can make that happen. The evidence supports emotional abuse. What about assets? I don't care about money. Just Harper. You should care. That college fund needs replacing. Harper deserves financial security. Harry considered this. What can we get? The house, for starters. Probably alimony given the length of marriage and her affair. We'll freeze the accounts today before she can drain them further. Jim pulled out fresh forms. We file for emergency custody immediately. The court will grant temporary orders based on this evidence. She won't see it coming. Good. There's something else to consider. Jim set down his pen. This video from the mother-in-law's house. We could use it publicly. Social media, her workplace. Nuclear option. Harry thought of Harper, of all the school events where she'd sat alone, all the family dinners where she'd been ignored. Not yet, but keep it ready. They spent 3 hours preparing documents. Emergency custody petition. Divorce filing. Financial freeze orders. Each signature felt like laying track for a train that would demolish Cala's carefully constructed lies. What's your timeline? Jim asked. I need 2 weeks. There's something I want to do first. Jim raised an eyebrow, but didn't question it. 2 weeks it is. Keep documenting everything. Any contact with Harper, any messages, any threats. And Harry, he paused. Once we file, this gets ugly. Are you prepared for that? Harry thought of Harper, asking why she wasn't loved. I've been preparing for 3 weeks. After leaving Jim's office, Harry drove to an electronics store. He purchased a small recording device and a USB drive. Then to a craft store, where he found an elegant wooden box cherry wood with brass hinges. Back home, Harry transferred the most damaging evidence to the USB drive. The video from Wylene's house. The messages calling Harper a mistake. The audio recordings mocking both father and daughter. He placed the USB in the wooden box, then sat at his desk to write a letter. His engineering handwriting, usually cramped with equations, flowed across the page. To Wylene, you said Harper wasn't family. This box contains proof that you were right, but not in the way you meant. Family doesn't treat children like burdens. Family doesn't systematically exclude and emotionally abuse. Inside, you'll find evidence of what your daughter has been doing in your home. You'll also find recordings of your own words about Harper. Your charity boards, church committees, and social circles might find them interesting. You have 2 choices. Disappear from Harper's life completely, or watch your reputation crumble as publicly as you've humiliated an innocent child. The choice is yours. Choose wisely. Harry folded the letter and placed it in the box with the USB. Then he locked it in his office safe. Preparation meant having all pieces in place before the game began. Over the next days, Harry executed his plan methodically. He opened new bank accounts in his name only, transferring his salary deposits. He documented every interaction with Cala, every dismissive comment about Harper, every late night with Derek. He met with Harper's teacher, explaining upcoming changes and ensuring the school knew Cala wouldn't be authorized for pickup soon. He found a family therapist specializing in children of divorce, booking appointments in advance. Daddy, why are you taking so many pictures of me? Harper asked one evening as Harry photographed her doing homework. Because you're growing so fast. Want to remember everything. It wasn't a lie. He did want to remember her strength, her resilience, her ability to smile despite the rejection she faced. The photos would also serve as evidence of his primary caregiving role, but Harper didn't need to know that. Cala barely noticed his preparations. She floated through the house like a ghost, present in body but absent in every way that mattered. She didn't ask about Harper's school play or her science project. She didn't notice Harry had stopped wearing his wedding ring. Working late again tonight, she announced the Thursday before Harry's deadline. Book club? Harry asked, voice neutral. Yes. She didn't meet his eyes. Don't wait up. After she left, Harry sat with Harper for dinner. They made tacos together, Harper carefully arranging toppings while telling him about her day. Madison said I can't come to her birthday again. Harper mentioned, trying to sound casual. How does that make you feel? Sad. But you know what? She looked up at him with those serious brown eyes. I don't think I want to go anyway. She's not very nice. You're right. We should spend time with people who are kind to us. Like you. Always like me. That night, Harry emailed Jim. We're ready. File Monday morning. Saturday arrived with spring warmth. Harry spent the morning with Harper at the park, pushing her on swings and catching her at the bottom of slides. Normal father-daughter activities that felt precious knowing what was coming. Mom says we're having dinner at Grandma's tonight, Harper said, hanging upside down from monkey bars. That's right. Big family dinner. Do I have to go? Harry, help her down. Just this once. Then things will be different. Promise? I promise. That afternoon, Harry dressed carefully. Dark jeans, blue button-down casual, but put together. He helped Harper in her favorite purple dress, the one with butterflies on the hem. You look beautiful, he told her. Grandma won't think so. Grandma's opinion doesn't matter. Only truth matters. And the truth is you're beautiful inside and out. The drive to Eileen's house felt both endless and too quick. Harry had placed the wooden box in a gift bag, tissue paper hiding its contents. It sat between them like a ticking bomb. What's in the bag? Harper asked. Something for later. Eileen's colonial house looked the same, as always pristine white with perfect landscaping. But Harry saw it differently now, knowing what had happened in the guest bedroom, knowing the cruelty plotted within these walls. They were the last to arrive. The dining room buzzed with conversation that died when they entered. Calla barely glanced up from her wine glass. Oh, you came? Eileen said, as if their attendance was an unwelcome surprise. We were invited, Harry replied evenly. Dinner proceeded with painful familiarity. Eileen regaled the table with stories of her latest charity function, pointedly mentioning how wonderful all her grandchildren were except Harper, who might as well have been invisible. The other children chatted about their activities, their achievements, their plans. When Harper tried to mention her science project, Eileen talked over her about Madison's dance recital. Harry watched it all with new eyes. The microaggressions, the deliberate exclusions, the way Calla smirked when Harper's face fell. He'd been blind for so long, but not anymore. Present time. Eileen announced after dessert, producing wrapped packages from the sideboard that Harry's hand found Harper's under the table, squeezing gently. She squeezed back, bracing herself. Once again, gifts made their rounds. Electronics, money, jewelry, everything a grandparent might bestow on beloved grandchildren. Once again, Harper sat empty-handed as her cousins celebrated their bounty. This time, Harper didn't ask why. She simply watched with those two wise eyes, accepting what she couldn't change. Well, Eileen said, settling back in her chair with satisfaction. That's everyone. The silence stretched. Other adults shifted uncomfortably. Someone cleared their throat. Harry felt Harper move beside him. She reached for the gift bag at their feet, standing with more grace than any 7-year-old should need. The purple butterflies on her dress caught the light as she walked around the table to Eileen. Grandma, Harper said, voice clear and steady. Dad told me to give this to you if you ever ignored me again. She placed the bag in front of Eileen and returned to her seat. The room went still. Even the younger children sensed something momentous happening. Eileen stared at the bag like it might bite her. What is this? She demanded. Open it, Harry said that Eileen's manicured fingers pulled at the tissue paper with growing irritation. When she lifted out the wooden box, confusion creased her Botox-smooth forehead. What kind of game? Open it, Harry repeated. She unlatched the brass hinges. Inside, the USB drive sat nestled in velvet, the folded letter beneath it. Eileen unfolded the paper, her eyes scanning. Color drained from her face with each line. This is you can't read it out loud, Harry suggested. Or should Harper? She's learning to read so well. You bastard, Calla hissed, starting to rise. Sit down. Harry's voice carried an edge that made her freeze. Harper, why don't you read the letter? Just like we practiced with your homework. Harper looked at him uncertainly. He nodded encouragement. She stood again, walking to Eileen and taking the letter from her trembling hands. You said I wasn't family, Harper read, her young voice giving the words an innocence that made them cut deeper. This box contains proof that you were right, but not in the way you meant. Stop her, Eileen shrieked. Family doesn't treat children like burdens, Harper continued, sounding out the bigger words carefully. Family doesn't systematically exclude and emotionally abuse. Calla lunged across the table, wine glass shattering. Harry caught her wrist before she could reach Harper. Inside, you'll find evidence of what your daughter has been doing in your home. Harper read on, unfazed by the chaos. You'll also find recordings of your own words about Harper. Your charity boards, church committees, and social circles might find them interesting. Enough. Wileen snatched the letter back. This is blackmail. Its consequences, Harry corrected. Harper, come here. His daughter walked back to him, head high. He lifted her onto his lap, arms protective around her. Someone get a laptop, he said. Let's see what's on that drive. No, Calla's voice broke. Harry, please. We can talk about this. Like you talked to Derek? In your mother's guest room. Gasps around the table. Wileen's son-in-law was already opening his laptop, curiosity overcoming loyalty. Harry recited the USB password from memory. Don't you dare, Wileen warned, but her son-in-law was already inserting the drive. What's on here? He asked, scanning file names. Recordings, messages, videos. Play the first video, Harry instructed. No, Calla and Wileen shouted in unison, but the screen filled with images. Not graphic. Harry had edited carefully, but clear enough. Calla entering Wileen's house with Derek. Timestamps. Audio of their voices planning their next meeting. Turn it off, someone muttered. There's more, Harry said. Messages where you call Harper a mistake. Where you discuss draining her college fund. Where you plan to abandon her after the divorce. You spied on me, Calla accused. I documented abuse. There's a difference. She's my daughter too. No. Harper's small voice cut through the shouting. Everyone turned to look at her. You're not my mom. Moms love their children. The simplicity of it, the pure truth from a 7-year-old shattered something in a room. Calla's face went white. Harper, baby, don't call me baby. You called Derek baby. I heard it on Daddy's computer. Wileen tried to salvage control. This is a family matter. We should discuss it privately. We're not family, remember? Harry stood, lifting Harper with him. You made that very clear. Multiple times. He looked around the table at the stunned faces. Monday morning, Calla will be served with divorce papers and a restraining order. The emergency custody hearing is already scheduled. Every piece of evidence on that drive will be submitted to the court. You can't take her from me, Calla whispered. I'm not taking her. I'm protecting her. From you. From your mother. From this toxic excuse for a family that treats an innocent child like a burden. Wileen found her voice. I'll fight you. I have money connections. And I have videos of your daughter committing adultery in your home. I have recordings of you emotionally abusing a child. I have messages where you help plan financial fraud. Harry smiled coldly. Your move. He headed for the door, Harper's arms tight around his neck. Behind them, chaos erupted. Shouting, accusations, Wileen demanding everyone delete what they'd seen. To the door, Harry turned back one last time. Oh, and Calla, your boyfriend Derek? He's married. His wife received a copy of everything an hour ago. Thought you should know. They left to the sound of Calla's scream and something else breaking, maybe another glass, maybe a marriage, maybe an entire family's careful facade. I in the car. Harper was quiet for several minutes. Then, Daddy, are you okay? I'm better than okay. Are you? Yeah. She smiled a real smile, not the careful one she wore around her mother's family. I don't have to go back there, do I? Never again. Good. She settled into her seat. Can we get ice cream? Harry laughed, the first genuine laugh in weeks. Yes, baby. We can get ice cream. As they drove away from Wileen's perfect house with its perfect lawn and imperfect hearts, Harry felt something lift from his shoulders. The burden of pretending, of accepting the unacceptable, of letting his daughter suffer for the sake of keeping peace. That burden was gone now, replaced by something cleaner. Purpose. He had work to do, a divorce to navigate, a daughter to heal. But for tonight, ice cream was enough. Daddy, Harper asked, as they pulled into the ice cream shop. What happens now? Now we start over. Just you and me. That sounds nice. It did sound nice. For the first time and longer than Harry could remember, the future looked bright. Complicated, certainly. Difficult, absolutely. But bright. They ordered their ice cream chocolate for Harper, vanilla for Harry, and sat outside under the stars. Father and daughter, family of two, Perfect in their completeness, Monday morning arrived with unseasonable cold. Harry stood at the kitchen window, watching frost melt on the grass, while Harper ate breakfast. His phone hadn't stopped buzzing since Saturday night. Calla, Wileen, various family members. He blocked them all. Is Mom coming home? Harper asked through a mouthful of cereal. No, sweetheart. Remember what we talked about? Mom's going to live somewhere else now. Forever. For a long time, yes. Harper considered this, then nodded. Okay, can I have more orange juice? The doorbell rang at 9:47 a.m. Harry knew who it was before opening the door. Jim had texted that the process server was en route. Calla stood on the porch, Derek beside her. Both looked haggard. Her designer clothes were wrinkled, her makeup smeared. Derek kept glancing over his shoulder as if expecting his wife to appear. We need to talk, Calla said. No, we don't. Harry accepted the papers from the process server, who photographed Calla as confirmation of delivery. You've been served. Emergency custody hearing is Wednesday. Don't contact Harper until then. You can't do this. Calla pushed past him into the house. Harper, Mommy's here. She's at school. Harry lied smoothly. And you're violating the restraining order by being here. There's no restraining order yet. Read page 12. Calla fumbled through the papers, Derek reading over her shoulder. His face went pale first. Financial fraud? Derek stepped back from Calla. You said the money was yours. It is mine, from my daughter's account that I control. That's not how custody accounts work, Harry said. As Harper's father, I have equal say in financial decisions. You stole $40,000. I borrowed it for hotel rooms with him. Harry pointed at Derek. The court will love that. Derek was already backing toward the door. Calla, I can't be involved in this. My wife already kicked me out. If there's criminal charges, don't you dare leave me. Calla grabbed his arm. This is your fault too. My fault? You said you were getting divorced. You said there was no prenup. Harry almost felt sorry for Derek. Almost. There's a prenup. Ironclad. She gets nothing except what she brought to the marriage, which was debt. Derek shook off Calla's grip and fled. His car peeled out of the driveway, leaving Calla standing in Harry's foyer like a disheveled stranger. You've ruined everything, she whispered. No, you ruined everything when you chose affairs over your daughter. When you let your mother abuse her. When you stole her future to fund your lies. I'm her mother, biologically, nothing more. Harry opened the front door. Get out. Next contact goes through lawyers. The videos. Calla tried one last manipulation. If you release them, it'll hurt Harper too. Kids at school will find out, which is why they'll only be used in court unless you fight custody. Give me full rights, walk away quietly, and Harper never has to know the details. You're blackmailing me. I'm protecting her. Choose. Calla's face cycled through emotions: rage, fear, calculation. Finally, defeat. I want my things. Already packed. Jim Morrison will arrange pickup. Now leave. She walked to the door, then turned. I did love her once. When she was born. Before what? Before I realized having her meant I was trapped. With you. In this life I never wanted. Then you should be grateful. You're free now. Calla left without another word. Harry watched her drive away, then went to the kitchen where Harper sat at the table, orange juice untouched. I heard Mom, she said quietly. Harry knelt beside her chair. I'm sorry you had to hear that. She said she didn't want me. That's her loss. Because you're the most wonderful person I know. Harper leaned into his hug. I don't want to see her. You don't have to. Not until you're ready. Maybe not ever if that's what you decide. Really? Really? That afternoon, Harry's phone rang with an unknown number. Against his better judgment, he answered. Harry? This is Pastor Williams from Wileen's church. Harry almost hung up. Wait, please. I'm calling because several board members received disturbing videos this morning. Wileen has been removed from her positions pending investigation. I didn't send those. We know. The emails came from Derek Miller's wife. She was quite thorough. The pastor paused. I'm actually calling to apologize. We had no idea Harper was being treated this way. Several families have come forward with similar stories about Wileen's behavior toward their children. Too little, too late. I understand. But I wanted you to know that Wileen's influence here is over. And if you ever want to bring Harper back to a different service, away from that family, she would be welcomed with open arms. Harry thanked him and hung up. One domino falling, WY evening. More dominoes had tumbled. Jim called with updates. Calla had been suspended from the hospital pending investigation of the stolen funds. Wylene's charity positions were evaporating as the scandal spread through Atlanta's social circles. Derek's wife had filed for divorce and was cooperating with authorities about the financial fraud. Calla's lawyer called. Jim said, "She wants to negotiate. Full custody to you. No visitation until Harper's 18. In exchange, no criminal charges and minimal alimony. Counter with no alimony. She stole $40,000. That's her severance. Harsh but fair. I'll draw it up." That night, Harry tucked Harper into bed with extra stories and songs. She fell asleep smiling. The weight of recent days temporarily lifted. Harry sat in his office afterward, staring at the family photo he'd kept just him and Harper now. His phone buzzed with a text from a number he recognized as Wylene's. "You destroyed my life. I hope you're happy." He typed back, "I'm not happy. I'm not sad. I'm just done. Don't contact us again." Then he blocked her too, adding her to the growing list of people exiled from their lives. It wasn't about happiness or revenge anymore. It was about building something new from the ashes of what never should have been. 6 months later, autumn painted Georgia in golds and reds. Harry turned the key in the lock of their new home, a modest 2-story in a quiet neighborhood far from Wylene's part of town. Harper raced past him, her laughter echoing through empty rooms. "My room's upstairs," she called. "Turn right at the top. The one with the window seat." Her delighted squeal made him smile. They'd looked at 12 houses before finding this one, but the moment Harper saw that window seat, Harry knew they were home. The moving truck arrived as neighbors emerged to investigate. An elderly couple from next door introduced themselves, immediately charming Harper with stories of the rabbits that visited their garden. "She's welcome to come see them anytime," Mrs. Chen offered. "I'd like that," Harper said, her old shyness melting under genuine kindness. They spent the day unpacking, Harper helping by drawing pictures to decorate her new room. As evening fell, they sat on the living room floor eating pizza from boxes, surrounded by towers of cardboard and possibility. "Dad," Harper asked between bites, "can we get a dog?" "I was wondering when you'd ask." Harry pulled out his phone, showing her photos from the animal shelter website. "I thought we might visit next weekend." "Really?" Her eyes went wide. "Mom always said no." "Well, I'm saying yes. Dogs teach us about unconditional love. We could use some of that." They scrolled through photos together, Harper commenting on each dog's expression and potential name. She'd grown in the months since that awful dinner, taller, yes, but also more confident. The therapy helped, as did the new school where no one knew their history. This one, Harper pointed at a golden retriever mix. "Look at his smile. He does have a nice smile. We'll meet him on Saturday. Can I show Emma?" Harper referred to her new best friend, met the first day at her new school. Emma didn't care about Harper's family drama. She cared about their shared love of books and building elaborate Lego cities. Of course, as Harry cleaned up dinner, Harper practiced piano on the keyboard they'd bought to replace the lessons Calla had never attended. She was working on a simple piece, notes occasionally clashing, but determination clear in her concentration. "That sounds beautiful," Harry said when she finished. "Mrs. Kim says I have natural rhythm. She wants me to play in the winter recital. Do you want to?" Harper nodded. "Will you come? I wouldn't miss it for anything." Later, after Harper was asleep, Harry sat on the back porch with a beer in his thoughts. The divorce had been finalized 3 months ago. Calla hadn't even shown up to court, sending her lawyer instead. She'd relocated to California with what remained of her reputation and whatever money Derek hadn't spent. Wylene still lived in her big house, but alone now. Her society friends had distanced themselves, her family embarrassed by the scandal. She tried contacting Harry through various channels, but he'd held firm. No contact meant no contact. The restraining order would last 2 more years, but Harry doubted they'd need it. Both women seemed to have accepted their exile from Harper's life. His phone buzzed. Jim Morrison, checking in as he did periodically. "How's the new house?" "Perfect. Harper's already planning where to put a swing set." "Good. You both deserve peace." Jim paused. Thought you should know Derek Miller was convicted of embezzlement last week. Turns out your situation wasn't his first rodeo. Not surprised. Calla testified against him. Trying to salvage something, I guess. Harry felt nothing at the news. Not satisfaction, not pity. Just nothing. Thanks for the update. Take care, Harry. Give Harper my best. The night was quiet except for cicadas and distant traffic. Harry thought about the last year, the pain of discovery, the fury of betrayal, the cold satisfaction of justice. All of it led here to this moment of simple peace. Tomorrow, Harper had a play date with Emma. This weekend, they'd visit the shelter. Next month, the school science fair, where Harper's project on butterfly metamorphosis was expected to place. Small moments building a life worth living. Harry's phone buzzed again. This time, a text from an unknown number with a photo attached. He almost deleted it, then recognized the interior of Wylene's dining room. In the image, that mahogany table sat covered in dust. The chairs were pushed against walls. The chandelier hung dim over emptiness. The message read, "You won." Happy. Harry studied the photo, this monument to false family values now abandoned. Then he deleted it without responding. Winning implied this had been a game. It hadn't been. It had been survival, protection, love in its fiercest form. He went inside, checking on Harper one more time. She slept peacefully, the golden retriever's photo printout clutched in her hand. Tomorrow she'd wake up safe, love valued. That wasn't winning. That was everything. The auditorium hummed with anticipation. Parents filled rows of seats, programs rustling, phones ready to capture moments. Harry sat in the third row, center section, the same spot he'd claimed for every performance this year. Is that seat taken? A woman indicated the chair beside him. No, please. Harry shifted his coat. First recital. Fourth, actually. My daughter Harper is playing tonight. How wonderful. Mine too, Emma Chun. She talks about Harper constantly. Harry smiled, recognizing Emma's mother from school pickup. They chatted quietly as the lights dimmed, and Mrs. Kim took the stage to introduce her students. Harper appeared in the wings, wearing the blue dress they'd chosen together last weekend. She'd insisted on doing her own hair, the result slightly crooked but entirely Harper. She scanned the audience until finding Harry, her face lighting up. The first students performed scales, and simple melodies played with varying degrees of success. Parents applauded each effort enthusiastically. Then Mrs. Kim announced Harper's name. Harry's daughter walked to the piano with steady steps. No hesitation, no looking back for reassurance. She sat, adjusted the bench, and placed her hands on the keys. The first notes of her original composition filled the space. She'd been working on it for months, refusing to let Harry hear the finished piece. It's a surprise, she'd insisted. Now he understood why. The melody started soft, almost mournful minor keys that spoke of loneliness and loss. Harry recognized their story in those notes, the sadness Harper had carried. Then the shift came. Major keys emerging like sunrise, the tempo building, hope threading through harmony. The piece grew stronger, more confident, telling of new beginnings and discovered joy. Harper played with focus that belied her 8 years, small hands moving with practiced precision. She missed one note, recovered without pause, and continued building toward the crescendo. The final section made Harry's throat tight. Pure joy translated to music bright, soaring notes that filled the auditorium with light. Harper's composition spoke of dogs and new friends, of window seats and pizza dinners, of a father who showed up and a life rebuilt with love. She held the final chord, letting its resonance fade naturally. The audience sat silent for a heartbeat, then erupted. Harry stood first, others following, the ovation washing over his beaming daughter. Harper bowed, then returned to the piano. She leaned into the microphone Mrs. Kim had set up. That was called Starting Over, she said, voice clear. I wrote it for my dad who never let me believe I wasn't enough. Harry couldn't see clearly anymore, vision blurred by tears he didn't bother hiding. Around him, other parents wiped eyes, moved by the simple honesty of a child's love. Harper left the stage and appeared moments later at the auditorium door. Harry met her there, lifting her into a hug that said everything words couldn't. "Did you like it?" she whispered. "It was perfect. You're perfect. Dad, nobody's perfect. You're perfect for me." They stayed for the rest of the recital, Harper sitting beside him now, their hands linked. She whispered commentary about each performer, noting improvements since rehearsals, offering silent encouragement to nervous friends. When the evening ended, they walked to the car under stars. Harper skipped ahead, humming her composition, then circled back to take Harry's hand. "Dad, remember when Grandma said I wasn't really family?" Harry's chest tightened. They rarely spoke of Wileen anymore. "I remember. I've been thinking about that." Harper swung their joined hands. She was wrong, but also kind of right. "What do you mean?" "Well, family isn't just about being related. It's about choosing each other every day. Like you choose me, and I choose you." And Scout, their golden retriever, adopted 6 months ago, had completed their small family. "That's very wise. Mrs. Kim says wisdom comes from hard times, like pearls from irritated oysters." Harry laughed. "She's right. So maybe what happened was good? Not the hurt parts, but where we ended up." Harry stopped walking, kneeling to Harper's eye level. "You know what? You're absolutely right. I wouldn't change where we are now, even though it was hard, especially because it was hard. Easy roads don't lead to beautiful views." Harper hugged him suddenly, fierce and strong. "I love you, Dad. I love you too, sweetheart. Always." They drove home through familiar streets, Harper chattering about the recital, school, plans for Scout's birthday party. "Dogs deserve parties too, Dad." As they pulled into their driveway, motion sensor lights illuminated their path. Scout barked welcome from the window. Mrs. Chun waved from her garden. Home embraced them with warmth and belonging. "Dad," Harper asked as they headed inside, "can Emma sleep over this weekend? We want to build a blanket fort." "Of course." "And can we make pancakes?" "Definitely. The kind with chocolate chips." "Is there any other kind?" Harper giggled, racing ahead to greet Scout. Harry followed slower, taking in the moment. The entryway held Harper's school photos, her awards, artwork depicting their family of 2+ dog. Evidence of a life rebuilt with intention and love. His phone buzzed. Harry almost ignored it, then saw the sender, Pastor Williams. "Thought you should see this. Wileen left town yesterday. Sold the house, moving to Florida. She asked me to tell you she's sorry. Too little too late, but I promised I'd pass it along." Harry deleted the message. Apologies from ghosts held no value. The only thing that mattered was the laughter coming from the living room, where Harper and Scout wrestled on the carpet. "Dad, Scout's trying to eat my homework." "Scout, drop it," Harry called, entering the chaos. "Harper, homework doesn't go on the floor, but I was showing him my math. He's very smart. He is smart, but he learns better without eating paper." They spent the evening in comfortable routine homework checked, dinner prepared together. Scout walked around the neighborhood. Bath time, story time, prayers that always included thanks for their small, perfect family. As Harry tucked Harper into bed, she caught his hand. "Dad, will you stay until I fall asleep?" "Always," he promised, settling into the chair beside her bed. Harper's breathing deepened, sleep claiming her quickly. But Harry stayed, watching his daughter dream safe dreams in their house built on truth and love. Outside, the world continued its complicated spin. Somewhere, Calla lived her chosen life. Somewhere, Wileen faced her empty consequences. But here, in this room with its butterfly pictures and dog-eared books, Harry had everything that mattered. He'd told Harper once that they didn't need to burn bridges. Some people built theirs from matchsticks anyway. Time had proven him right. The bridges to their past had crumbled without help, leaving only the solid ground beneath their feet. Harry kissed Harper's forehead, whispered good night to dreams, and left her door cracked so light could find its way in. Then he went to his own room, Scout padding behind, ready to rest in the peace they'd earned. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new joys, new moments to navigate together. But tonight, Harry Prescott slept the sleep of a man who'd kept his promises, protected what mattered, and built from ashes something unbreakable, a real family. Small, imperfect, there's